Alright, hello there and welcome to episode 101 of the Daily Shed. And today I'm going to be talking about some basics, and this is switching chords, which is one of the biggest challenges that I hear when people are kind of starting out on guitar, is switching between chords. And it's really about the speed of getting your fingers into the right position at the right time. And it really holds people up, and I find a lot of frustration with that. So I thought I'd share a few tips about that switching. One thing, which is just kind of a trick at first, when you're playing the basic chords, by basic I mean the ones you see most often, A minor, G, C, D, E minor, those chords like that, is that if you're strumming, the most important thing is to keep the rhythm going. That's what people will really notice, even if you don't hit a chord right at the exact moment. If you keep the rhythm going, rather than waiting, interrupting the beat to switch chords, the most important thing is to keep the rhythm going. So keep your strumming going. Say you're doing this simple strumming pattern. And when you're going to a new chord, most of those, almost all of those basic chords that you'll know, it's okay to hit the open strings for a second before you switch chords. So if you listen to this, I'll go between C, G, and D. What I did at the end of each chord was there, my upstroke was just on the open strings, like that. And it might sound a little funny by itself, but when you're in the context of it, again, C, it sounds fine. All of those notes are in the key of most of these chords that I'm playing there. So it fits right in. So it's something that you can do to kind of buy yourself a little time as you're switching, is just as you're switching at the end of the previous chord, just lift your fingers up and keep on strumming, and it actually will sound fine with almost any chord progression you can think of. I'll just go between E major, D, A major, E major, even though some of those notes, like the open G string, doesn't fit in the E major chord. Even so, when you're playing it in rhythm, you won't really notice it. You won't really notice those open strings there. What you'll hear is the rhythm, and you'll hear the switch between chords. So that's one kind of little trick you can do, is just to play the open strings at the end of that. Hey there, Terry. Just play the open strings in between. The other thing to do is to really concentrate on your fingers and know that you have a choice of fingers. You don't have to play the same chord the same way every time. For instance, going between C major and D major, you might usually play D like this. You open D, index finger on the G string, ring finger on the B string, middle finger on the E string, like that. So there's your C, there's your D. You have to do a big switch with every finger. What I find a little easier, just for myself, I like using, for a D, most often, using my middle finger on the G string, pinky on the B, ring finger on the E. I find that I have to move a little bit less. If you watch my left hand, it's a little bit less movement than going between that and the D, and the first way that I played it. See how much hand movement there is? There's less if I use this fingering instead. So look for ways in which you can actually alter the strings that you, or the fingers that you use for the strings, according to where it is, and you can play around. It doesn't matter which finger you use, whatever is comfortable for you. Same with the G. Most people play it like this. You can also play it like this. It's a bigger stretch, but here, most people play middle finger on the first string, index finger on the second string. I usually use my ring finger on the sixth string, middle finger on the second string, because it's much easier if you watch playing between a C and a G that way. There's a lot less hand movement than if I play the G like this. See how my hand has to really reposition itself like that? So that's one thing to look at also, is which fingers you use for each string. Last thing I want to talk about is to pay attention to the changes that your fingers do, the switches. And when you're practicing switching between chords, say you're switching between G major and A major, which is kind of a big switch. You know, all your fingers have to pick up and move. Really look at what each finger has to do when you're going there, and maybe even practice it individually. So if you're going to go the G like this, with your pinky on the 6th string, and the A like this, your pinky has to go from there to there. So maybe at first just focus on those fingers, on that one finger moving between there and there. Okay. Your ring finger isn't used at all in the G. Playing it like this. It's just ready to hop there on the G string. So get it ready to go from nothing just to the G. Focus on that. And focus on what your index finger has to do. It goes from the 2nd string to the 3rd string. Like that. Or depending on which fingers you use, again, for the string, you use like this. Just focus on that one finger when you're switching. Watch what it has to do and just practice that. And then get them all together when you do the switch. You may find that that helps a bit, rather than looking at it as one complete just, you know, way of making a fist, way of making the chord. Focus on what each finger is doing individually, and that may help you. So I hope this is useful to you. Again, this is really for when you're getting going in guitar. Mondays I always give a lesson that's really for kind of basics of guitar. I hope this helps a bit. As always, let me know any questions or comments you may have, and thanks so much for watching.